excuse how I look. That's snot. I'm not gonna lie to you, it is. So if you haven't noticed, I was doing Vlogmas and then I just stopped. I have a reason. So I was out of town for like this work kind of thing, and that kind of took over my days, and so I just had to stop. And then when I got home and I was like, okay, I'm finally gonna film again, bitch, I got COVID. I still have COVID. I just feel incredibly less shitty today, so I'll be editing out all my coughing and all my gasping for air. But yeah, so if you guys notice the jump clips, because you know I don't like to do that in my story time, so if you notice jump clips, it's because I don't want y'all to hear me hack up a lung or anything. So the story time is going to be about me coming out, and this is my return to Vlogmas. There's only a few days left. Who knows if I'll finish, but you know what? This is my return. Fuck it. So this is my coming out story. So if you don't know, I am bisexual. I think it would be obvious if you watch some of my other YouTube videos, but I'm bisexual. I started dating girls when I was 15, but I think I knew since, well, honestly, maybe since I was younger that I was interested in girls, but I definitely knew at like 14, like freshman year of high school, that I liked girls, but I was exclusively dating boys my freshman year of high school, like hard. So with that being said, okay, so when I was 15, what girl was I talking to? Okay, I know who I was talking to. It was this girl that went to my school. She was a basketball player. That bitch ended up breaking my fucking heart. Okay, little mini story time. So she ended up breaking my heart. Like, this was the first girl I had ever, like, I feel like I say that about every girl. Like, this is the first girl I ever really talked to, but shit, I don't be remembering. But this is definitely, like, the first girl I talked to at my school. She's a basketball player. She ended up telling me that she didn't want a relationship. I guess the with me part was silent because she did get a girlfriend, like, right after. But, like, that's the first, like, serious girl kiss I had. We kissed in the hallway by the fucking locker room. But so that, she's like important to the story though. So we had like this whole thing going on, and then one day she like told me that she didn't want a relationship and all this other stuff. So this was around Christmas break, like Christmas time. And that I remember specifically because I think she actually told me the day we went on Christmas break. I have a video of me literally crying on Snapchat. So that is important because we ended up having a holiday party for like Christmas or like fucking New Year's or something. I don't remember, but we did something at my mom's house. And my cousins came over. And one of my cousins is a raging lesbian, but she's been out for a while. Like, I think she came out when she was probably like 12 or 13 or whatever. So at that time, she had been out for maybe like 2.5 years, 3 years or something, and I hadn't came out yet. A few people knew that I was talking to a girl. I wonder if she knew. I think she kind of knew because I would joke about like her friends with her, maybe. I don't remember. My sisters, like 2 or 3 of my sisters definitely knew. But my cousin came to this party, a lot of my cousins, my aunts, whatever. So I was like joking with my cousin. I'm like, oh, you should plug me with one of your friends, like blah, blah, blah. Like, just like the party, we're just joking. Like, yeah, plug me with one of your friends. She's like, oh, I got you. She like told her brother, like, oh, Jordan wants the plug with blah, blah, blah. It was a specific friend, but I won't say her name because she's in a relationship at the moment. But see this girl, you know who you are. But anyway, so yeah, like my sisters knew, my cousins, like 2 or 3 of my cousins ended up finding out at that party. But I wasn't thinking anything of it because like this is my cousin, like she's gay, so I wasn't necessarily expecting her to tell anybody because like why would you, especially if you know this is like you had the same water break and I had to gasp for air. But anyway, so I wasn't necessarily expecting her or anybody to tell anybody. It's not that I was like scared to come out because my sister came out as a lesbian, or she came out as bisexual at first, but then she ended up coming out as lesbian. So it's not like I was necessarily scared because I definitely think my sister not necessarily had it worse, but it was kind of like since she was the first one to come out, you know, she had to do like all the explaining and definitely just like more of the teaching. So I wasn't necessarily scared, but it was just kind of like I didn't necessarily know what I was going to say or when I was going to do it. I think both of my parents had just expected me to be this like super, like I was like, I don't want to like stereotype myself as like a popular girl, but when I was in 9th and 10th grade, I was doing a lot of sports. I had a lot of friends and I was dating like a lot of athletes. So it was kind of like that was part of my identity. And I was just like a stereotypical like straight girl. Like I just had a lot of like straight characteristics about me, I guess you could say. And I dated a lot of boys already. Like I said, I came out when I was 15. That's 10th grade. I had been like dating boys since like really a lot since 9th grade. So I don't think that is something that they expected from me. So I was just I wasn't necessarily like afraid, but I was nervous. There, I'll say it. I was nervous. So I don't know what he said, but my boy cousin ended up saying something to my mom, and he was like, "Oh, Jordan's like lesbian," or something like that. I don't know what he said. I really don't. But my mom came up to me at the party and she's like, "Oh, you like girls?" Like, she wasn't mad, but she was just like, "You like girls?" And I think it was just kind of awkward because I said it, or because he said it in front of like our whole entire family. And that's definitely a moment that I should have had like with my parents alone. And I know some people feel like, "Oh, you shouldn't have to come out." But you know, I think for me, it was like, I wanted to tell my parents, like, "Oh, you like girls?" And I'm like, yeah. And she was just like, "Okay." And she just walked away. Like, it wasn't like I was getting some looks from my grandma. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. My mom was, for the most part, just like, okay. She was definitely, like, shocked, I think, because she just didn't expect that from me, because I had been dating boys. Like, I was boy crazy. And my mom would always, like, say that about me. She'd always be like, "You're so boy crazy." Like, her and her friends would joke about it. So I think she just kind of didn't know. Like, she was just shocked, but she was just like, okay. Now, I was getting weird, like, looks from my grandma. She had made a few remarks that I just won't repeat because they're just, like, so ignorant. Old people are just ignorant as fuck. Well, actually, I will say it. She told my mom to beat it out of me. So, obviously, she didn't because, anyway. So, yeah, she told my mom to beat it out of me. Obviously, my mom didn't because, like, what the fuck. But yeah, my mom didn't really have anything to say for the most part. I think she was just taken aback because I was boy crazy and it wasn't like, you know, expected. Now, my dad wasn't home during all this. My dad was at work. This is when my parents were still together. My parents ended up getting divorced at the end of my sophomore year. So this was in December. So like middle of my sophomore year. But so my dad was at work and I was more nervous to tell my dad than tell my mom, because I know when my sister came out, she kind of like, she had to explain it to my dad. So I was like nervous to tell him. I didn't think that he would be like mad or anything, but you just have to explain things to him. So I would like I just wanted to tell him, like, you know, I think I'm bisexual, like I don't really know. So when he got home, I asked him to come to my sister's room, and I think my older sister was in there, my older sister China. I asked him if he would come to my sister's room. I didn't want to go upstairs to my mom's room with him because I didn't want to have the conversation with both of them, because she had already found out and she already was just kind of like, okay. So I didn't want to have that conversation with them so they could converse. I wanted me to just be able to talk to one parent at a time. So when my dad came in the room, I was like, you know, I think I'm bisexual. And immediately my dad goes, "Well, you know, in the Bible," and I got nervous because I'm like, is he about to talk to me about religion? But he didn't. He was like, "In the Bible, you know, it says no sin is greater than the other, and who are we to say that this is a sin?" Because I did bring it up. I was like, you know, like, I don't want to feel like I'm doing something wrong. And that's another reason I feel so strongly about saying being gay isn't a sin, because my dad was like, who are we to say that that's wrong? Like, we're not anybody. And plus, the Bible has been mistranslated fucking 50 million times, but whatever. So he was like, who are we to say that's wrong? And he was like, you know, I'm happy that you feel comfortable telling me, because people kill themselves about this. He was like, would you kill yourself if you stole a candy bar? And I was like, no. He was like, would you kill yourself? Like, then why would you kill yourself? Because you like women. And I know for some people, they're not going to understand the analogy, but basically what he's saying is stealing is a sin and being bisexual is a sin. You wouldn't kill yourself because you stole. So being bisexual is not a big deal. And I know everybody won't view it that way, but that's just how my family viewed it, because we don't view it as a big deal. But I was still nervous to tell him, and he was like, you know, you're my kid. I love you. This doesn't make me look at you any differently. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And he was like, I'm happy that you feel like comfortable telling me. I was crying. So that's my coming out story. It wasn't like I had like super homophobic parents, but at the end of the day, it was still like a really emotional experience for me, and I was still really scared because first I didn't really get to come out to my mom on my own. My cousin basically like told her, which is kind of like, I guess, like, fuck it, whatever, it doesn't really matter now. But at the time I was just like, what the fuck? But I did get to come out to my dad. But yeah, overall, I didn't have like a bad coming out experience, and it makes me very sad for people who did, because it's like I don't ever know what to say. Like, obviously I was nervous to tell my parents, and you know, they had to take a minute to like process it because they just didn't expect it from me, because I was really, really boy crazy. But they were still supportive. They weren't like homophobic towards me, biphobic towards me at all. So it just makes me sad when people tell me they have those experiences with their parents, and all I can do is say that I hope you don't have that experience. And if you ever are looking to come out and you're scared to tell your parents, you can always shoot me a DM. I try to answer my DMs, and I'll be there for you, because I understand that coming out is a really hard experience and it's scary. Don't ever come out for somebody. Don't ever push somebody out of the closet. It's very dangerous. You never know a reason people don't want to tell their parents. But yeah, that is my coming out story. Nothing too special, nothing too crazy. And I'm sorry about my break, bitch. I'm sick. But yeah, bye guys.